I made about 600 bucks this month. I'm in a trade that has a potential of making 1K for me. We'll look at that later in the video. And we'll look at how I've done this week. This week has been not that profitable, about 80 bucks or something like that. Let me actually share my screen with you so that you can see what is going on. My name is Joachim Jeria, and this is Clear Trades. I am regularly updating my trading. You can check them out in Telegram, the trades I'm in, and how I manage them. Anyways, let me just real quick go here so that you can see. This is my FX book that I have. I have my account linked to it so you can see it's a live account. I am, this is my curvy. If you've seen other videos, you know I've had a huge drawdown of about 40 bucks, 40%, not 40 bucks. And I've recovered from it, and I have made some gains on top of that. Now, if you scroll down a little bit, you can see I have made about 114 pips this week, which is actually not bad. But in terms of the dollar amount, it's not much. It's 81 bucks. Now you can see in the month, because the 1st of October is going to be on Monday, I believe. So I'm making it this month's video. I made 606 buck in profit, about 305 pips, which I don't know what to make of it. I am not aware of what an average trader makes in terms of pips. But overall, it's been a not bad month. I've been feeling under the weather this week, so it's also been okay in terms of my trading performance. As I've mentioned, this is my Telegram channel. I post my trade ideas in here. I post how I manage it. I post, sometimes how much the risk is, my thoughts on it, etc. So anyways, this was on Monday. I went short on EC. As you can see here, it looked to me like this is a higher time frame. I managed it from a shorter one, but I want to show the bigger picture. There was 3 pushes up. It was kind of failing. They were small. 3 pushes up here, 1, 2, 3. It looked to me like a good probable bet that this is going to go down, which it did indeed. I also went long on EJ. It was at the trend line. It bounced twice. I was like, it looks like it's going to break up, but there was not that much momentum. And then I also cut my CH here. It looked like it was breaking out to the top. So those were things that happened on Monday. And then CH. Now here's the thing, okay. So I'm like, okay, this looks like it's going to break out to the upside. I'm going to close my trade, which I did, but I did not flip my position. And what happened instead is I flipped my position here once I had a confirmation of breakout. In my opinion, it would have been better to just freaking go flip the position and go long. Anyways, so I did that. I wrote it up for a little bit and I closed it here. That was good. It dumped afterwards. Good decision. Then you can see here my EC, my Euro JPY trade. It went up. It went here. I decided to close again. I think that in how it played out is it retraced afterwards, so it was a good trading decision as well, or the result was good. And then my short on EC that you've mentioned, where you had the 3 pushes up and the small pushes up here, where I went short close to the trend line here. It went down. The only thing I regret on this one is that I didn't size heavier, so I only made 90 bucks in profit. That was the next day actually. And then NH, I was like, I'm going to try a short here. It was at the trend line. I was like, it looked like it's going to fail, but it didn't. I mean, it actually broke up to the upside. Then I did a short on GC. Up here, it was failing. I really want to have this thing push up all the way to the trend line, but I decided, look, it's failing here. It's going to go down. I wasn't super convinced of it. I thought I had smaller sizing, but still, I just totally mismatched this trade. It started to go against me. I closed my position. Then I flipped the position to the upside. I was like, maybe there's going to be further upside. And what happened, it started going against me. As you can see here, I added a second position in with the idea that I'm going to close my first position at break even, a second position in profit. It started to go further against me, and I closed everything at a loss. That was really unfortunate because what happened is it then pushed back up. You can see it, I added here, it went down further, and then it reversed. I could have had this whole thing at a net at a profit. Actually, I could have had it as a profit. In my opinion, my sizing was probably too heavy, because what I should have done is, okay, I'm here, I'm adding, and I could have added one more time if I've sized appropriately, but I didn't size appropriately. I was a bit too heavy to do this, and I lost my nerves. Otherwise, this would have been a nice trade, showing how you can actually recover when it goes against you when you're managing it appropriately. But I didn't, right? So, anyways, NH that I wanted to short it was just in a range. Again, it looked a little bit like it might break out, but it also looked like maybe it's just going to stay in the range, because there was the Swiss National Bank was going to say what the rate cuts is in the 1 or 2 days. So I didn't flip my position, and it broke out to the upside, which is similar to CH. Anyways, then I went short on GU. Now, this is a big trade, and this is also a trade that has the potential for making me 1K. This trade is, you can see this on the 4-hour, my analysis here. And it was in the morning, I woke up, I saw how it failed to push up, so I went short here. Now, there's a few things with this trade. Maybe I should show you this on my trading view here. Let's see. Is it gonna load? There we go. So GU, here we are, 1 hour, 4-hour. Let's go to the 4-hour here. So you saw how it failed on the top, right? Here, I started entering here. It went down. Now, I had some issues with this trade when I first entered it. When you look at this trade, it is at the trend line. That is correct indeed. But when you look at the previous history and how much it went up before, this high is not as much as this high. You can measure it with the measuring tool if you want. I'm waiting for my tongue so I can actually do this more better, because I'm on my trackpad. But basically, this was like 160 pips or something like that, while this was like 200 pips or something. So it's not as much over to the upside. It didn't go as much to the upside as I wanted. I would have liked a potential break out of the channel and then a reversion down, which still might happen, by the way. But so anyways, I entered this trade, but I had some doubts about that. The other thing I was like, I think this is going to take some time. Now, if you take Al Brooks' terminology or idea, what he says is, look, you have a move up, and you can measure this, right? Just use the measuring tool here. You can see, okay, how much is this move up? You just start here, you go to the top of the move. You can see it's about 52, 53 bars, something like that. Now, in his idea, before something is, unless it's a climactic top and it's gonna pretty much reverse immediately, you have about half of the bars you need. So it was 52 bars, so you need about 25 bars. And this is 16 bars right now. You need about 25 bars before this pattern can actually reverse, or it makes it more likely. It can reverse at any time. I don't think that's a accurate saying to say when it can reverse. It can reverse in time. So when I looked at it and I shorted up here, I was like, I'm unsure whether this is really going to go straight to the profit target, or whether we're actually going to have, the break of a trend line. We're going to have a resumption, or trying to resume the trend upwards, another failure, and then potentially a sell-off to the bottom. That would be ideal. But when I was in here, when I got in, it was just up and I shorted it. But I was a little bit nervous about this. Then it sold off really nicely. And I decided to get out, because look what happened. You can see these bullish bars. This is on the 1 hour. Within 2 bars, it like reversed pretty much most of the sell-off that it had. So I decided to get out at break even, but it was just a spike up. And then it just kept going down. So you can see here the spike up. This is the 4 hour. And then it kept going down. This is where I was starting to feel pain, because I'm like, oh, damn, did I just get out for it to then just reverse and go to take profit? So I was feeling a bit of pain, but I just watched it. I didn't go back in. I didn't think it was a good idea to just go in, because I feel like I've missed the trade, whatever, and chase the market. I don't think it's a good idea. So anyways, next day it pushed up. I tried to get back in here around the break and retest. off the trend line, right? You have to break and you have a retest. That didn't really work out, so I closed it again, and I actually shorted it again all the way up here, which I have posted in the Telegram channel. So there we go. There's another video I created, and it just sold off. I left a message explaining my reasoning behind it. And let me just finish the GU before we go to UJ. So anyways, I have entered here, and then it sold off. I was anticipating a third push up, which it did, and I entered a little bit below. You can see it. We'll see it in the Telegram as I scroll through it. I entered the second position. The first position was a $500 risk to the stop loss. Second position in same size, so we are about a $1,000 risk on this one right now, which is a good amount for this trade. But it looks to me like something that is, reasonable in terms of it playing out. There might be one more push up. When I'm looking at this, how I went up, how it sold off, the sell off is not that strong. I wouldn't be surprised if we get another push up to the trend line before we have a reversion down, but it's hard to say. It could also just keep going down and then, go a bit sideways, up and then down. Who knows? We will have to wait and see. But this is a nice setup. I like it because, especially because this trend line is on the daily time frame. All right, so let's look at UJ. Short UJ, I decided to go short here because it looked like it was failing up here. And then it was kind of stalling at the trend line. I got out to break even because I moved my stop loss to break even. It pushed up, and then it would have sold off. It wouldn't have gone all the way to the take profit, but I would have made a decent amount of profit on it, but I wasn't in it. Which is something I've noticed, that when I see, a decent amount of bullish action or I see stalling, I have a tendency to get out. I'm not 100% convinced whether it's a good idea or not to do that. I have missed out on profit, like, previously when I shorted GU before. I have missed out on probably like, $800 of profit because I got out because I saw a good amount of bullish momentum return. I decided to go out, and then it just followed through. It didn't go all the way to take profit, but it got close to it, and I would have made a lot more money. So what I'm doing is, and this is how I learned to manage my trades better, is I look at how they play out. What was the decision? Why was the decision made? Not just the result, because if you only look at the result, you're not going to get an accurate picture, because you always have 20/20 vision in hindsight. So you need to actually go back in time, look at the data that you had available. How did the chart look? Was that a reasonable decision to make or not, regardless of the result? Because let's say you make a reasonable decision and then you have a low probability event happening. You can't just go back and say, well, the decision was bad. If you have thought it through, you planned it, and you've executed, then the decision might have been good, even if the result is bad. So that's something, but I still need to review it and look at it and see, well, was that a reasonable decision or not? And so for UJ, I think it is a reasonable decision to get out when you see stalling and you move it to break even. But at the same time, I do want to experiment to hold trades a little bit more when there's some signs of it potentially not working out. Yes, it does protect my capital when I get out, and I've been making steady gains, but it also has been limiting somewhat my profit potential, because when I review it, there's a good amount of trades that I got out then worked out later. So it's something I will see, and we'll see in the future how that works out for me. Anyways, so we are back to GU. This is what I mentioned. I'm doing the break-in retest. We will skip through that. I've added another position on the news. I put a sell limit here, which got filled. And then the whole thing just basically didn't work out. So I got out to break even for both positions. And I let it push up all the way. And then here I'm sharing my setup. That's why it's worthwhile to actually join this Telegram, because I do share some of the ideas. This is GC. I want GC to push up, as I've mentioned, all the way to the trend line. That would be a really nice, especially in a timely manner. That would be a nice overextension play, which I will go in heavy. So then what we got here. Oh, yes, we got a short on EJ. I was eyeing EJ to short all the way up here. But I was like, yeah, I need a little bit more time, see if it's what's going to happen. I went for breakfast and this thing just dumped. There's some kind of election results apparently that came up that made it bullish for EJ. And then what happened? Well, it basically just went sideways. It just went sideways and had somewhat more of a sell-off later on. But I decided if it's like this, it's over 20 bars already in trading range. it becomes less likely for it to continue downward. It's a 50-50 chance whether it's going to go. I want it to actually go up and do a 50% retracement and then sell off again. So that's why I sized appropriately. But anyways, that didn't happen. This is the terminal for GU. My 2 positions is on the 5-minute chart, and then my overall thing that you have seen countless times. So anyways, this is my trading week. Overall, I think I've done fairly well in my trading. Yes, there is still plenty of things to refine, and I'm looking forward to October. See how this goes, see how this specific trade GU is going to play out. I would love for GC to set up as well, and for me to take that trade. It is something that I think will be looking pretty decent. Anyways, if this video was useful, and hit the like button and subscribe. Share with other people if you think they would find it useful. And otherwise, I'll see you around. Join the Telegram and take care. All right. Bye-bye.